Friends of humanity, we bring you this breaking news update from SGT Report. Look, the attacks that we've seen in Paris are absolutely horrifying. You know, there are a couple of fundamental things that need to be asked every time there's an attack like this. Number one, who is being blamed? Number two, how quickly does the official story come together? And number three, who benefits? Now, we know that ISIS is backed by Western governments. We know that ISIS in Syria is funded and backed by the Pentagon and by Western powers. We know that in the past, events like these that we've seen on 7/7 with the London bombings were contrived events.
Today we were running an exercise for a company, bearing in mind I'm now in the private sector, and we sat everybody down in the city, 1,000 people involved in the whole organisation, but the crisis team, and the most peculiar thing was we based our scenario on the simultaneous attacks on the Underground and mainline station. So we had to suddenly switch an exercise from fictional to real. And one of the first things is, get that bureau number. When you have a list of people missing, tell them. And it took a long time.
Just to get this right, you were actually working today on an exercise that envisioned virtually this scenario.
Almost precisely. I was up until 2 o'clock this morning because it's our job. My own company, Advisor Consultants, we specialise in helping people to get their crisis management response. How do you jump from slow time thinking to quick time doing? And we chose a scenario with their assistance which is based on a terrorist attack because they're very close to a property occupied by Jewish businessmen. They're in the city, and there are more American banks in the city than there are in the whole of New York. A logical thing to do. And I've still got the...
I was going to say, how extraordinary today must feel for you as it unfolds.
Now we have a report coming in today, and I want to give credit to the Peter James YouTube channel, that again, exercises in Paris for the morning of November 13th, 2015, were in place. Paris Emergency Room Dr. Patrick Pelot, who according to MockingbirdMediaTime.com was ironically also a Charlie Hebdo survivor, what are the chances, who's said to be among the first responders in this latest terror attack. In his own words, there was a multiple site attack exercise planned on the very morning of Friday the 13th. You can listen to that audio right here. It's in French, but you can read the subtitles. This is the voice of Patrick Pelot.
Le hasard a fait, pour vous dire, c'est que le matin, au SAMU de Paris, avait été organisé un exercice sur des attentats multisites. Donc on était préparés. Donc ce qu'il faut voir, c'est que vous avez une mobilisation des forces de police, des pompiers, des SAMU, des associatifs qui sont venus.
Now, as all of you know, this is not unusual. It happens time and time again. We saw it on 9/11. We saw it in the Paris bombings on 7/7. We've seen much of this type of stuff happen with the Charlie Hebdo attacks. These incidences are so often contrived for the benefit of the power structure to roll out their agendas of more police state, more surveillance, less liberty, and to move us into what is now widely referred to as their New World Order agenda of one world government and endless war. Now, it also needs to be said, for anyone who doesn't understand the history here, the history of Operation Gladio and the history of false flag terror, that the people in control, the deep state, the intelligence agencies, the people in control of these Western governments are beyond justice. Okay? And these people are capable of literally anything. We saw it on 9/11. We know about the art students that were in the World Trade Centers and had full run of those buildings in the 4 years leading up to 9/11, some of them with close ties to the Mossad. And we know these intelligence agencies are capable of true horrors. If they could do what they did on 9/11, they're capable of anything. It's absolutely horrific. But if they'd contrived 9/11, and if they'd contrived 7/7, and they could contrive Operation Gladio, they are capable of anything. And I want to leave you with Ephesians 6:12, because it's so important, and this is from the King James Bible. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. I just saw the new James Bond movie, Spectre, and it's really all laid out there. Now, Spectre in the new James Bond movie is the global criminal organization against which Bond fights in that movie. And that's essentially what we have. This new world order, this deep state, this global octopus, which is moving us towards this prison planet, this hell on earth, is like Spectre. They operate behind the scenes. They manipulate events. They've infiltrated, or maybe more aptly, built intelligence agencies from the ground up. All wars are bankster wars, as our friend Michael Rivero has told us. It's true. And what we see in the movie Spectre is actually reality. It's presented as fiction, but that is the reality of what we face. Call it the Rothschild cartel, call it the international globalist cartel, call it the Jesuit cartel, the Mossad or Zionist cartel. It's bigger than any one entity. It's bigger than Zionism. It's bigger than the Jesuits. It's multiple criminal organizations intertwined and working together like a board of directors. They're directing this planet into a one-world government. And events like these must be uncovered for what they are. And now we know, as luck would have it, in the morning at the Paris SAMU, a multiple site attack exercise had been planned. So assets were in place to respond. It happens every time. And once again, humanity is being manipulated into endless, endless wars. We're going to lose all our liberties if we don't wake up our friends, neighbors, and colleagues to what's really going on. And if we don't bring the real perpetrators of these absolute horrific crimes against humanity to justice. All right, God bless. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing this video with others. Have a good weekend. We'll talk again soon.